Thank you. Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? All right. Well, about 4 years ago, I started working at Urban Arts Partnership, and I was given a portfolio of about 10 schools. One of the schools that I was given was Samuel Gompers High School, which you see right here. Graduation rate, 29.6%. That's crazy, right? 29.6%. That means only 3 out of every 10 students are graduating from this high school. Just think about that for a second. What's happening to the other 7? Where are they going? Also, when you take a look at the building, what does it look like to you? I hear someone say jail. Some people say a factory. I don't see any grass, concrete. I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in the Midwest. We had a lot of grass in the front, a lot of grass in the back. I don't see that here. And what you don't see in this picture is the metal detectors once you go in through the entrance. Every single morning, the students are greeted by a metal detector. What does that tell them? That tells them that we don't trust you. I flew in from New York City yesterday, and at the airport, nothing about the airport says I trust you, first of all. I go in there, take off your belt, take off your shoes, and then they pull me to the side after I go through the metal detector to take your hat off, and they start feeling in my hair because they thought I might have weapons in my hair or something. And it was just so demeaning, and just to think that these students go through that every single day. I imagine, what does that do to their psyche? What does that say about their value as human beings? Well, though Urban Arts has a ton of programs, I'm going to focus on after school for this particular talk, since we're talking about security. In between the hours of 3 and 6 p.m., this is when most of the juvenile violent crimes are happening. You see the peak during school days? And not only is crime happening in between 3 and 6 p.m., but this is also the time when teens are sexually active. Stats show that teen girls who are not in after-school programs are 37% more likely to become pregnant than girls who are. So with these stats being what they are, I felt a sense of urgency for this particular school. Like, I have to do something. Yes, I had 9 other schools, but this school had the biggest need. In visiting the school and checking out our programs, I noticed that students weren't going. The attendance was extremely low, and it really, really bothered me. We have this free program in the school, providing arts programs, providing dance, providing classes on how to use media, and they are not going. So at the end of the school year, the teaching artist who was working in the school, he gave me a CD. It was a CD that he mastered from the students who were creating music in this school. There happened to be a studio that was, I believe, on the 3rd floor of the building. And this was the one thing that brought joy to the students who were going to this school. And our artist came in, and he helped them complete their songs, and then he mastered it into a professional CD. So one day I was driving to the grocery store. I put the CD in the car, and I was completely amazed. 21 songs on there, all full of passion, just great music. And then track 7 came up. And when track 7 came up, it really struck a chord with me, to the point where I had to pull over, get a pen and paper, and actually write down what this student was saying. The song that he wrote was called State of Emergency. And when I heard this song, I felt like he was talking directly to me. So right now, I'm going to share with you these lyrics that he wrote. And imagine me being a 16-year-old boy named Michael. I'm no longer this beautiful black woman standing in front of you. But these are his words. Black fist, hands up. All we see is handcuffs, stuck in this hell, and they still don't understand us. I represent the Bronx Zoo till I eat dirt. We all die, let's just see who's going to leave first. I still eat, count my blessings till I leave Earth. They kill us all so that segregation resurfs. I'm just spitting the facts. History about the life behind killing is whack. Seeing us, state of emergency. Welcome to hell, we yell, but there's no one to hear. I'm in the cell, I failed because my man squealed. Talking to God, that's odd because my life's lost. I'm in the gutter, I stuttered, I feel it's God's fault. I've been through rain, my pain, I haven't slept yet. I grind the hardest, this artist, I haven't slept yet. Light a candle for my memory. CNS, state of emergency. And those were his words. He didn't imagine those words, he didn't make them up. He was talking about his experience, his feelings, living every day in the South Bronx. And look at the name of the song, State of Emergency. Imagine right now if there was an emergency in this building. If someone were to scream, fire! And all the sprinklers were to come down, how would we react? We'll start running around, trying to get out, trying to get out of the room. You've seen the movies when the buildings are falling down? Everybody's running around. There's this sense of urgency. You know, we got to get out. We got to run for safety. Are we reacting that same way as it relates to students who are in situations like this? He wrote this song for us. He's trying to tell us something. So I had this light bulb moment while I was in my car, and I called the principal at the school. I had her number on my cell phone, and I asked her if she can pull aside 10 leaders in her school to sit down with me for a focus group. She agreed to it. The beginning of that school year, 10 students came to meet with me in the classroom, and they were looking at me like, you know, who are you and what do you want? And the AP also told me, the assistant principal told me, good luck, they don't listen to anyone. You'll be lucky if you get 10 minutes out of them. But when I got into the room, I gave them all a copy of these lyrics. And they were extremely impressed. They was like, hold up, you listen to our music? And I was like, yeah, I listened to it, all 22 songs, it's great. So almost right away I had immediate buy-in, because they didn't feel like anyone listened to anything they were saying. And I started to ask them a few questions. The first question that I asked them is, how many of you guys feel the same way that Michael feels? And they all raised their hand. So, okay, that's what I thought. Who's the audience? Who are you talking to? And they told me that they were talking to society. And I was like, okay, who's society? And they was like, you. You, our parents, everyone in this audience. We're talking to society. So, okay. I said, well, what is he afraid of? In the lyrics, he talks a lot about death. He's afraid of dying. He's afraid of not being heard. He's afraid of feeling trapped. And then I asked him, how many of you guys are afraid of dying? Everyone raised their hand. And I said, okay, let me rephrase that. How many of you guys are afraid of being killed? Because there's a difference. We all die. How many of you are afraid of being killed? They all raised their hand again, and they started opening up to me about all the people who they knew were killed. Some of their friends, family members, fathers, uncles, all of them have experienced death in a very unfortunate way, to the point where they felt like that was going to be their future. The next question I asked was, well, what does he predict? The song ends, the last line of the song says, light a candle for my memory. We all know what that means. So he already wrote his death sentence. The last question I found most interesting, which was, what does he desire? Because nowhere in the song did he really say in black and white what he desired. But you can feel what he desired when he read the lyrics. When I first started talking to these students, they were first complaining to me about the school food. School food is nasty. We ask for better food every year, and they keep giving it to us. We had to go through the metal detector every day. This sucks. You know, we want to leave campus for lunch, but they won't let us. Our friends at other schools get to leave. How come we can't leave here? Why don't they trust us? Those were their complaints. But then after going through the lyrics, they all had this light bulb moment of what they really desired. What Michael desired through his lyrics was a sense of freedom, life, to be heard, and to be treated like a human being. That was the root of what they all really wanted, and everything else was just symptoms of that. The metal detectors, you know, not being able to leave campus, nasty food every day. But they were finally able to identify what the source of their anger was coming from. So I ended the focus group by asking for 2 volunteers. There's going to be a school assembly next week with about 400 students in it, and normally myself or one of my teachers would speak to recruit students to come into our program. Instead of us doing it, can one of you guys or 2 of you guys do that for us? 2 brave souls raised their hand, and they said that they would do it. And also, everyone in that group, when I asked them who wants to be part of our program, they all raised their hands and said they wanted to be a part of our program. But before I was able to get buy-in from them, I had to first listen. I had to first hear them out. I couldn't just come into that room and say, this is our program, and you should join, and we're going to save your life. No, I had to listen first. I had to gain their trust first. And then, and only then, was I able to propose our programs as a solution to the problem. We can help you. How many of you guys want to live and go to college one day? They all raise their hand. How many of you guys want to have families one day? They all raise their hand. Okay, well, you have a choice. You do not have to end up in a graveyard. You do not have to end up in jail. You can come to our programs. We have programs in place that can help you go to college. We can give you tools through the arts to help you graduate. They saw value in my program at that point, and 2 of them agreed to speak to the student body about who we are at the assembly the following week. So 1 week later, the assembly is happening. The principal speaks first. Nobody's listening to her. The assistant principal talks second. Nobody's listening to him either. And then finally, Jonathan, one of the students in my group, walks up and he grabs a microphone, and the whole entire auditorium just falls silent. The students could not believe that the adults actually let another student talk. And he was nervous, his hands were shaking, and I purposely asked the principal for the leaders in the school, because I know that once we get buy-in from them, everyone else will follow. Jonathan was one of the leaders in the school, and he pitched our program to his peers. He said, they're here to help us, and I really do think that they care, and we should all join. He didn't say much. That's pretty much all he said. And a second student came up, and he said that, he said his words too, and he was nervous. But by the time the assembly was over, our programs were packed, and we had a wait list. We didn't have enough to serve everybody. Now, recruiting is difficult when it comes to high school students because they have so much going on in their lives, and they don't have to be in school. So it's important that we understand who's the competition. Retention is the hardest part when it comes to keeping high school students. How do we keep them? Now that they're here, we need to keep them for the entire year. So that's me right here on the right. I used to play basketball at Penn State University. Over here on the left is Sue Bird, played at UConn. And in the year 2000, played in the Final Four. And before every single game, we had to watch film to study our competition. Before guarding Sue Bird, I had to watch film of her. I had to see, I had to watch her, how is she on offense? Does she drive right? Does she drive left? Is she a three-point shooter? How am I going to guard that? What kind of plays does this team run? How are we going to defend that? We watched film together as a team. And we also had to watch film alone in our dorm rooms individually so we could study our own personal roles. In order to win and be prepared, we have to do this. The same approach, I take the same exact approach when it comes to my work. I had to study these students before going into that school to find out how we're going to help them. Who's the competition? Where are they going when they're not coming to our program? Why are they going there? What kind of fulfillment are they getting from those spaces that they're not getting from us? And it's really not that hard. If you just ask them, they would tell you. At the end of the focus group, I asked them, when you're not here, where are you, and why aren't you coming? So when I asked them, why do you not attend? They said, oh, we're hungry. School food's nasty. No offense to you. No offense to your programs, but we want to go at 3 o'clock. We want to go get something to eat. That was one answer. Another student said gangs. Some of them are in gangs. Another said sports, which is a great thing. I would never discourage sports. And others said, I just want to hang out with my girlfriend for the evening. 3 o'clock, teachers clock out. Mom doesn't come home until 6. This is my window of time to do whatever I want. And I want to be with my girlfriend. So then I asked them, well, what do I need to do to make this program great for you? What will make you come every day? And they said, well, we want to perform. We want to be on stage. We want to show off. This picture right here is actually the students. These are the students from Samuel Gompers High School. And this is the STEP program that we had there. Also, I had to learn from the spaces that they were going to. What do gangs and sports do really well that makes students want to go there? There's team, there's belonging, there's colors, there's dances, there's chants that they do. Okay, now how can I emulate that and bring that into an arts program? Look, colors, they're doing a dance, they're saying chants, but now they're doing it for something positive. Sports is positive too, gangs not so much, but I learned from that, studied the competition, and brought it into our programs. So anybody working in education familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs? I'm going to really quickly explain it. Basically what Maslow is saying is that if you don't have basic needs, nothing above that matters. So if you don't have food, water, and shelter, safety doesn't matter. If you don't have safety, belonging doesn't matter. If you don't have belonging, self-esteem doesn't matter. And if you don't have any of those things, you cannot reach your full potential. So as you see from the lyrics, students were saying, I've been through rain, through my pain, I haven't slept yet. That's food, water, and shelter that they don't have. Black fist, hands up, all we see is handcuffs. Safety is missing. We all die, let's just see who's gonna leave first. Safety is missing. These students did not feel secure. So according to Abraham Maslow, school doesn't matter. Studying doesn't matter. Going to my program does not matter, because I'm just trying to make it through the day. That's what's going on in their minds. By the end of the program, these are some of the testimonials from them. I used to lose focus, but now I can focus. I learned to cha-cha-cha and I gained more friends. That's belonging. This class has helped me to gain confidence, to take things lightly and to not stress things. I have found that I'm able to express myself here, self-esteem. I expected to become a real dancer and I became one. Whenever we did a move wrong, we just kept practicing until it was perfect. That's self-actualization, that's mastery of something. My favorite one is from Narcisco. I have never done anything like this before. I was not sure what I wanted to do, but now I am a global finalist. Not a local finalist, not a national finalist, but a global finalist for the Adobe Aspire Awards, and I want to pursue being a movie director. I ran into Narcisco last weekend at an alumni event, and he's in college right now studying film. That's self-actualization. And I don't tell many people this, I don't tell anyone. But when I was young, I used to have a really bad speech impediment. I had a therapist, a speech therapist that I see all through my childhood. Nobody understood me except for my mom. When I spoke, people looked at me like, what? And my mom would say, she says she wants water. And you know, they teach you that whatever happens in your childhood pretty much forms your perspective of yourself and how the world perceives you. So I always had a complex about public speaking. Nobody's gonna know what I'm saying. Nobody's gonna know what I'm talking about. So every time I speak, before I speak, I'm in that self-esteem bracket. And that voice in my head is like, you're gonna suck. Nobody's gonna know what you're saying. Nobody's gonna understand you. And I've learned that whenever that voice comes up, I'm one step before reaching my potential and do it anyway. So what you see, me giving a TED Talk, is me doing it anyway. Thank you. This is the same thing that we teach our students. When you hear that voice, do it anyway, so they can fulfill their potential and self-actualize. So I'm going to end on this note and leave you with this thought. I use basketball as an example. You can either be on a court or you can be in the stands watching. When you're in the stands watching, you're in the seat of judgment, or you're like, wow, what a bad shot. Why did she do that? That was horrible. Bad pass. And sometimes it's cool to be in the stands. But I challenge every single one of you to get in the game. Get in the game, make things happen. You know, it's a risk when you do that because people are going to criticize you. Why did he do that? Why did she do that? But also, there's reward in being in the game too, because you win trophies and, you know, you get to do TED Talks and stuff like that. Really cool things. So hopefully, I inspired you today to you know, get in the game. I spoke for these students today, for children who don't feel like they have a voice. They told me they didn't have a voice. So this is more for them than for myself or for my organization. And I hope you heard what they had to say. State of emergency. Let's step up. Thank you.